Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Mary from Decatur Public Library, and we're going to have another episode of Kids Try This at Home. This one is more of an engineering experiment, and you are going to need just a few things that you should have around your house. First of all, you're going to need 2 chairs that are identical, the same height from the floor. You're going to need some raw spaghetti. Mom may have a box in the pantry, but be sure to ask her before you go get it out. You're going to need some tape, and I just used clear tape. You may want to use masking tape or packing tape if you have some, or even duct tape, so it will be a little sturdier. You're going to need some weights to go in a bag. You can use coins or other items that are all the same size and weight. Make sure one's not lighter than another. I used washers, like your dad may use to do plumbing or electrical work around the house, because I had a lot that were just the same. You're going to need a paper clip, and you really should try to get a big paper clip, not the little bitty normal kind. I used a really large one, and you're going to need to open it up. And you're going to need a sandwich size Ziploc bag. Now, the first thing you're going to do is tape 1 piece of spaghetti onto the chair, and I use 2 pieces of tape on each side. You're going to want to have the chairs facing each other and then try to tape about 1.5 inches of spaghetti down on each chair. And I decided, since my weights are as heavy as they are, I'm going to put something on top of the pieces of tape on each side to try to help hold it, because we want to just see how strong the spaghetti is, not how quickly the tape will come off the chair. I experimented with this already, trying 1 piece of spaghetti, and that's what you start with. And you keep adding 1 weight at a time until you see how many weights your 1 piece of spaghetti will hold. I believe mine held about 15 or 16 weights. That was a lot. I actually guessed after I started adding weights that it would hold maybe 6 and then break. Nope, we kept going and going. I have already taped on a second piece of spaghetti now. So this one is 2 spaghetti strands tight. And guys, this is kind of like a rope. If you wanted to climb a tree, into a tree house, you would not hang a little piece of thread like your mom sews buttons on and try to climb that piece of thread, because you would fall. You would get a rope that had strand after strand after strand of thread or fiber, so that it's very strong. It's kind of like people. If you just have one person pushing a car that quit, it won't move probably. But if you get a bunch of people, you've got a lot of strength and the car will move. Same thing with this. The more you have, the stronger it is. Now, I have gone on and poked a hole in the bag with the paper clip and hung it like a hook. And I have added 15 weights already, so we can see how this works. Now, I want you to watch carefully. You're going to have to pull the bag off of the spaghetti gently each time you add another weight, because if you just drop a weight in the bag, it may break the spaghetti just from the movement and the quick shifting as the weight hits the floor and makes more weight in there, as the weight hits the other weights. Very gently, I'm going to put this hook back on the spaghetti. Wow, it is really, really bending already with 15 weights. Let's add another one and see what 16 weights will do. Oh wow, it's still holding. We'll try 17. Bending even more. $18. Wow. $19. $20. Ooh. $21. Wow, this spaghetti is strong. $22. $23. is pretty amazing. 24. We could just keep going and going, but I think you get the idea. I would like to recommend that you take a piece of paper and just write down like 1 for one strand of spaghetti, and over beside it write 15, or however many of your weights will break that one strand of spaghetti. Then write a 2 underneath that and write how many it finally takes to break 2 strands of spaghetti. This is just a fun experiment to see how when you add more and more, it's sturdier. Now, guys, I want to tell you where I got this experiment from. This is a fun book called Real Science Experiments, 40 Exciting STEAM Activities for Kids by Jess Harris. It's here at Decatur Public Library if you want to check it out. And I want to tell you a little story about someone who came up with a very important invention. This is a book we have at the library also called Microwave Man by Sarah L. Latta. And it tells about Percy Spencer. He was an engineer with a company that made radar tubes. He made something like this back in the days when when radar was they needed to have tubes like that. And they were working to try to figure out another way to use those after the war was over. And he was up near one of those one day, and he had a candy bar in his pocket, and the tubes let off a lot of heat, and he noticed that the candy melted. So he started thinking about how you might be able to use that heat to cook or do something else like that maybe, and he invented the microwave, or gave the idea for it. So I would love for you to come and check out that book. I hope you have a wonderful spring. I've enjoyed getting to share some experiments with you. Thanks for coming today. Bye-bye.